Okay. So what did you guys think? What were your what did you walk away with? What did you love? What did you remember?
I'm just really surprised on how people think so differently. Like, because everyone's around us are so uniform and they're thinking, and then to see somebody who's like, well, here's my hand, let me put it on the screen.
Right.
That's like so out of the box that it's not even like a shape anymore.
Right,
so
right.
That's what I was really surprised.
Right, or with the maps, the way we see what streets. And then what country was that? Japan?
Yeah, Japan.
And in Japan, they don't name the streets; they name between this block and that block, which is like
that's so confusing.
Completely,
yeah.
but it actually
it's still a system.
It's the same system.
Yeah.
It's like in I forgot what in the Middle East they don't name the street. There's the main streets, but then there's other things that have nothing to do with what we think of as a street. Like, well, it's a quadrant of something.
Yeah.
And there isn't a number. It's just, well, it's,
I lived for 2 years in Panama, and they name the streets, but nobody knows the name.
Yeah.
So
they all have their own
that's
names
exactly
for the
what it's
street.
like.
there's 27 McDonald's in Panama City, and there's always like, oh, you just have to walk from the McDonald's. But I don't live here. Where's the McDonald's? Oh, it's right next to the other McDonald's. I swear that every time.
Yeah. I know. Like in several Middle Eastern countries, they have the same word, which means like shore, and that's basically what the beach street is called. So there's like a long coastal street, and for every country, it's just named the same thing, which is like beach shore, and in Arabic,
Oh.
And so, but it's such a long street that even if you say it, it's like, well, okay,
Which part?
at what part?
right.
So,
And they don't have like a number or intersection.
they don't really use numbers. Like sometimes they'll use like big things. Like he says like McDonald's is like a marker, and I guess like they would use by like that restaurant or something like that.
Oh, wow.
So, but yeah, at first I thought it was only in Egypt. I was like, oh, Corniche Street, okay. But then I went to like United Arab Emirates and then like Saudi Arabia, and everyone's got a Corniche
Street. Right. It's kind of like frontage road along the highway or something. Right.
So, but yeah, I really liked how. I always think that I think differently, and then I saw how these people thought differently, and I was like, I'm a little too far behind. they think way differently.
Right.
I'm just like glad in this university you can experience like so much diversity.
Yeah.
You don't have to go anywhere. Just go to one of these conferences or anything, and there's people from all around the world. You can learn so much from just looking at how other people think, and I mean it's just amazing. I don't know. I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So you're visiting from you're from Panama?
I'm from Venezuela.
Venezuela. Oh, okay.
And I've been here for a year.
Okay. And are you a student?
I was born here in Florida.
Oh, okay.
But obviously I have like Middle Eastern parents. Yeah.
I just love covering my head. Oh, cool.
And you're in
Yeah, I'm like from India. I was born and raised there, but I moved here like 10 years ago.
Oh, okay.
But
And what stuck out to you at the?
I really like the talk about believing in people or investing in the capital, and I think
the
hopefully-
the micro
the
loan.
microfinance kind of thing.
Right.
And hopefully, I can go home and check that out because I think it's really important that. It's so funny because I was listening to a friend of mine talk about their idea recently, and it was in my mind I couldn't believe in them, but I think more now after this talk, hopefully I could believe a little bit more in their idea and hopefully invest in it, and I think that would make a big difference into how people approach life and things like that.
Right.
So I think that's really
right.
important.
But it's not like a bank.
Yeah,
which
it's not a huge investment. It's
Right.
a small investment that you can make, and it's something that you can give. So why not?
Right.
I like how she says, the statistics are really fun to tell.
Yeah.
But I'm really serious about the stories.
Yeah.
And there's just so many life-changing stories. It's with $100.
Yeah. So that.
I know, it's something that, and this is from an experience, how she was saying about giving the money and how they don't want the money as like a charity thing. And this actually, I was recently in Morocco, and there was what we considered a beggar, and she was selling gum, and it was like an older woman, and my sister just kind of handed her the equivalent of $2, and she was like, no, you can keep the gum, and the lady was trying to insist, take the gum, and my sister, it didn't really occur to her, she was just like, no, and then later my mom was like, you probably really offended her because she was probably actually trying, to earn the money, and you were just giving her charity. And it was something that we didn't even think about. We were like, well, we're just helping her out. She can sell the gum to somebody else, and he has just an extra few bucks. And I always think about that now. And I was thinking about that when I was listening to her talk, because maybe like she was offended.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that really the diversity of both the group that was here, of the attendees, and really the topics that we covered and we're really exposing everyone to. So it was a really great experience, and we're looking forward to doing it again.
What was one of your favorite moments? It's something you heard, or a word, or a phrase, or an idea.
Well, I really like how we went from moments of kind of having a tear in your eye to laughing hysterically. So I think that's what's really great about TED is that we can have this range of energy and leave on this buzz of what are my ideas, like how can I talk about them, and really how can I focus on the relationships I have with people to help me foster my ideas and theirs.
You too, sweetheart.
Oh, it was wonderful. I'm Rich Kamko. I'm actually visiting from New York City, but I was able to come in here and just catch her speak. We actually had a friend who transitioned. He had everything plotted out, so we knew what he wanted when he was no longer conscious.
When did that happen?
About 3 weeks ago.
And how are you?
2 weeks.
That's an
Busy.
awful thing. That's an awful thing. And you've got to give yourself time. You've got to be real gentle with yourself. Don't accept invitations to things you're not going to have the energy to go to. When you have the loss like that, it's like someone's turned on a faucet and all your energy just went out in the ground. So pace yourself, celebrate him, stay in the bed if you want to, eat out of a can with bunny slippers on. None of that matters.
Right.
And there aren't any rules. If there were rules, he'd still be alive.
Right.
So, Sally Carey at yahoo.com. You can get me that way if you start to feel like things are. Just write me a note and I'll say, let's get you on
No, it was really great. I mean, I'm actually here with CNN iReport, just vlogging and stuff. But I just wanted to come up and say I really connected. Obviously, it was quite timely, but it also brings everything else in perspective because our journey is so quick. All this technology.
We can talk about 50 billion years. It's over, folks. We're a piece of paper.
Right.
So, you want to do worry and guilt and mind me? Go ahead, but what the hell is the point?
Right. Beautiful.
And I see people every day do magnificent, ordinary people who are graceful when no one's looking. It's real easy to be cool when everyone's watching you.
Right.
But when you're in pain and you're losing someone you love and you're watching it happen and you're still graceful, it keeps me real humble on a daily basis. Because it's a gift for them to let me be part of it. You think sex is intimate? Try death.
Right. Try holding out while they're coughing their bile into your pan, and you're like, oh my God.
This is for real, isn't it?
Right.
That happened, didn't it? I'm sorry, sweetheart. But look what you gave him, a gift. It said, here's the gift you gave. I'll stay no matter how sad it makes me. That's your greatest gift of all.
Right.
Because a lot of friends run away.
And we said, the thing we were saying was the most profound thing was to be able to say, okay, we'll pull the plug because he wanted it. It's the greatest gift a friend could give another friend.
What you would be doing is taking care of you, not him.
Right.
What kind of friend does that? We can't make him come back, but we can validate what he says.
Right.
That's all there is to this.
Right.
Don't need a damn PhD for it.
Hi, I'm Rich Kamko, and I just got out of TEDx at FSU, and amazing. From like the outer reaches of the galaxy to holding someone's hand when they die. I was blown away, like my mind was blown open with so many ideas, just like pressing buttons on a hand, or how do people see the world? How do minds accelerate in behavior from groupism, from like say a tight right-wing party of people going off into their own mind, or their left-wing Democrats into their own mind, to someone allowing a friend to die. And I wasn't expecting that TED would be so intimate. I didn't expect to talk about living wills and transitioning and allowing somebody the grace of dying. So what was wonderful is it really stretched from outer space in the furthest galaxies to a hospital room, and like infinite amount of time, where there's billions of years of what our world is, and then the split second of who we are, and the brilliance of what is possible with human ideas, and what we can do in just the last 10 years in technology, the last 2 years, the last year of technology. And it was an interesting hybrid of a full stage TED, and that TEDx is actually interspersions of videos of TED event speakers on a screen, and in between them they have local community leaders who are also top of their game, speaking on their expertise and sharing their ideas, and then people interacting and bouncing off and just coming out. The theme was ripple effect, and you could really feel like, oh wow, it's just how it affected your consciousness from hearing how in Japan, like the way we make Google Maps is not the way they make Google Maps in Japan. And we name, if someone says, hey, how do I get to so-and-so's house? It's on this street. And so we say, oh, it's this street is this number, and the house is on, on that street. But in Japan, they go by block. So it's not the street itself. They don't know what the street is. They just know this block is called 17, and this block is called 18. And that street that you're looking for is between these two blocks. Whereas we say the house is between these two streets. And when they number houses, we put, east, west, 1 through 10 or whatever. But in Japan, they do, the first house is number 1. The second house to be built is number 2. The third house is number 3. And it doesn't have to be, they're not next to each other, it's just whoever came first, second, third to that block. So it just reminded me of like, God, there's so many simultaneous realities that are correct. And the problem, like the founders of the United States wanted democracy because there's power in disagreement. There's power in seeing things in more than one way. And we both see the block, we both see this town, but one group sees the streets, and the other group sees the houses on the blocks. And actually, they're both correct, but they're received in different ways. And yet, because of that, the diversity of the thought, we can actually innovate. I mean, just like there was someone they were showing who was a videotape, who was showing how you could just project things off of technology that started from what was a trackball for a mouse. And now it became into movement, and then it switched into scanning and video clips. Fascinating how they could actually interact with the world and shape the world, frame the world, take photos. But there's plenty more you can see in links that you'll see here, the TED links to TEDxFSU, but also just at TED.com. What's interesting is I think this allows TED to reach much further and much wider without having a $10,000 or whatever, $20,000 admission ticket. So many other people can access information and meet and integrate and diversify their thoughts and experiences by coming together in these groups. So amazing day at FSU, TEDxFSU. That's one take.